was so busy, and Kimberly didn't tell me.
Okay, we're live. Hey everybody, Roy Settings here, and I want to welcome you to my YouTube channel, The Four Horsemen. This is going to be we got a great show for you tonight. We're going to be covering Chuck Berry, and what I want to say is, you know, The Four Horsemen is your ultimate destination for all things rock and roll, classic rock, and some heavy metal thrown in. We don't like all heavy metal, but we like enough of it. We like the good stuff, right? Okay, we're celebrating the legendary artists, the timeless albums, the iconic anthems that define generations. We cover the music you love, the stories behind it, and the history that made it happen. Okay,
you don't say.
No, I don't. No.
Well, that sounds kind of exciting, man.
Okay, well, let me get back here to my panel conversation. So, Dawson, can you hear me? Okay, thank you. You know, Dan was already up. He's an original Four Horsemen. You know, we'll proceed for a few more minutes. So let's go ahead and get into this, okay? Michael, how did your show go at the end? I had to get over here because I'm still trying to get on in a decent time here.
Brother, I was going probably right up until about 5:22, which is the latest I've ever skated it.
Right, right.
And but there was so much to cover. And can I say something here before we get started?
Absolutely.
I meant to give a shout out to TJR. Now I have two TJR channels that I'm aware of. We haven't heard from the TJR that used to come to the streams. Yeah, Classic Rock Corner.
Yeah, I know who you mean.
In a while. But at first, when he showed up, I thought he was the TJR. And TJR is a channel. He does kind of what I do, you know. He doesn't stream or anything like that. He will even go a bit wider and cover potpourri things. But Royce, I'm going to tell you what, I was listening to him just on my own the year before I even entertained to open a channel. And then I took a year to learn the ropes and get the equipment that I needed to start a channel. So he goes back, you know, I've said I discovered probably Larry Graves a little bit before I discovered you, right? But TJR, a tip of the hat to you, kind sir. In his latest video, he's covering Will We Get Revolver? He's covering Giles Martin's comments, and so did Joe Mail and I. And he mentioned both of us in his latest video, and I just wanted to say a shout out to you. I appreciate the shout out you did for me, brother. Great channel, by the way, right? And so I was so inundated with this. I think Wednesday, Dan's in. Wednesday, what we're going to do is we're going to do the Mount Rock Olympus Hall of Fame, the post show, because I really want to connect with people.
Royce,
you know,
if anybody's going to come in, they may have already, but erase that link right now. All four of us are in. Nobody else has to join.
Yeah.
Sorry, Michael.
No. Yeah, we're filled up. I just want to say that you know, if you see anybody you don't recognize, some of you guys have the power to ban them too if you see them in the chat. Anyway, I don't want to talk about trolls one word anymore tonight. They do not exist. They've been disrupting us too much. I don't even want to get into it anymore. But thank you for that, Chris. Okay, Dawson, we have the original Four Horsemen here, so we're going to go and we're going to start talking about Chuck Berry, the true king of rock and roll. Why do I call him the true king? Well, he was widely regarded as the foundational father of rock and roll, okay? Shaping the genre's guitar-driven sound, songwriting, showmanship. He defined rock with, you know, hits like Maybelline, Johnny B. Goode, blending blues, rhythm and blues, and country into a distinct sound called rock and roll. By focusing, now what he did, you know, and you guys all know, and you'll all like this. He focused on the electric guitar riff. Okay, I mean that is basically the foundation of rock and roll. The electric guitar riff as the primary melodic element to the band. Okay, so Chuck Berry was the first person inducted. I don't know how many of you knew this. He was the very first person to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame on January 23rd, 1986. Also inducted at the same time, this will blow your minds, Elvis Presley was inducted. James Brown was inducted. Little Richard was inducted. Fats Domino, Ray Charles, Sam Cooke. I love Sam Cooke. I love all of them, actually. The Everly Brothers, Buddy Holly, and Jerry Lee Lewis were all inducted to that very first Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now,
what they did was a retroactive on their very first rock. All right, let's get rid of a lot of these guys so we can focus on classic rock. And then they lost their way.
Keith Richards is, Keith Richards
lost the way. That's exactly right.
Yep.
Okay. So Rockin' Robin Bird is just.
Dan, what did you say about Keith Richards?
Keith Richards is the one that inducted Chuck Berry into the Hall of Fame.
Oh, apropos. You know what, Royce, you were talking about what he brought to rock and roll, and that's why I inducted 25 guitar players tonight based on that. He wasn't one of them, but he did win, for the 50s nomination. I'm a guitarist, as you know. I'm not an Eddie Van Halen kind of player. I play the minor pentatonic scale, the blues scale. I know a few modes that I can go into, but I have to relook them up and then kind of stretch some ideas on a guitar to kind of create a moody solo. I have the knowledge to do that, but get me in a room with another guy playing rhythm guitar, I'm going to go right to the minor pentatonic scale. And so did Chuck Berry. So for the most part, a lot of what B.B. King did was that minor pentatonic scale, and B.B. King had his licks too, but what was incorporated from Chuck Berry, heavy metal uses the duck walk all over the freaking. Heavy metal uses double stops. Heavy metal uses the bending of the G string as you on a downstroke, as you come up on an upstroke, and you hit the E and the B string. That G string on the 7th fret bent, and then hitting the B and the G string on the 5th fret. All right. And that's actually just the beginning of the duck walk. Or you can go all based on that freaking riff. So and if I love Elvis, early Elvis. My caveats. I think our viewers know my caveats, right? And I'm glad he got inducted into the Mount Rock Olympus Hall of Fame tonight. That was great. But if I had a choice, who would you have wanted? It would have been Chuck Berry. But I didn't have to worry. They both got in tonight. So
that was great.
So much of what I know, Chuck Berry established.
Yeah. Hey, okay, let me cut in for 1 second. Okay, I've got to say thank you so much to Michael Boswell for the $5 super chat. Really appreciate it. And I want to do a really quick shout out to last week's people that donated. One was, once again, Michael Boswell, and also Michael Nolan, both super chats. Thank you guys so much.
Who the hell is he?
I don't know.
Sounds like a troublemaker. Yeah, Royce.
Well, he's a well-known troublemaker.
Yeah, I'll have to send. I usually like to send something your way. I could barely get up here, as you well know, but I'll be sending something your way later.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it, Michael.
Well, I like to support your channel. You know that, brother.
No, I know. Okay, so let's. Okay, we're going to talk about Ahmet Ertegun for a minute, Michael. You'll like this. You're a big fan.
One of my heroes.
Okay, so anyway, Ahmet Ertegun basically started 3 years before they actually had this induction in '86. In April of '83, Ahmet Ertegun, founder and chairman of Atlantic Records, actually founded the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Okay. And it's too bad he didn't play a stronger role throughout the history of it, because if you look at this first group of inductees, it's just insane. It's like everybody that deserved to be there was there, right? And
right after that, he was talking to Paul Rogers about bringing Bad Company in right at the beginning. Paul Rogers turned it down.
But I mean, listen to the list once again. Of course, we know Chuck Berry's in it, but it was Elvis Presley, James Brown, Little Richard. I mean, right there, that's like the roots of rock and roll. Fats Domino, of course, Ray Charles, Sam Cooke, the Everly Brothers, Buddy Holly, and Jerry Lee Lewis. I mean, this was a deserving group if there was ever a deserving group. I mean, it's crazy.
Oh yeah.
So
to this day, it's probably still the best class there's ever been.
I can't think of one that comes even close. So
and take a look at that list, folks. Those are some of rock's very best scoundrels.
Right.
A lot of rock and roll tradition established by these guys. It wasn't Led Zeppelin or the Beatles.
But anyway, so Chuck Berry is frequently cited as the real king or father of rock and roll, because he was the genre's primary architect and songwriter. Okay, while Elvis Presley is the most famous figure to hold the title of king of rock and roll, many music legends and critics argue that Berry's contribution were more fundamental to the music itself. Okay, so he's considered the true king. Unlike many of his contemporaries, Berry wrote his own hits. Berry wrote his songs. Okay.
Yep.
Crafting lyrics that define teenage life, fast cars, consumer culture. So anyway, many rock legends, and I'll use John Lennon as an example, once famously stated, if you tried to give rock and roll another name, you might just call it Chuck Berry.
Yeah.
Yep.
Stevie Wonder, Bruce Springsteen have also held him as the genre's one true king and greatest practitioner. Berry also has this is funny, he has a galactic legacy. His song Johnny Be Good is the only rock song included on the Voyager's Golden Record that was sent into deep space to represent humanity's music. Johnny Be
That
Good.
was the song that I voted for on your poll that you're currently running. I strongly encourage everybody to vote on Royce's new polls.
Yeah, I try to put one up for every show. It's just a fun,
Johnny
fun
Be Good was my pick, and I loved every one of those songs that you brought up.
There was an answer. So reportedly, there was an answer from the Voyager. They said, "Send more Chuck Berry."
Yeah, I heard that
too. Can you imagine some alien, turns this thing on and it's Johnny Be Good? I mean, it's just like, oh my God, wouldn't I love to be there? So Dr. Insomnia has a birthday. Does everybody know that? Happy birthday, Dr. Insomnia. Dr. Insomnia, we appreciate all your comments. Well, we do a lot of talking backstage when I have the time. Dr. Insomnia loves to come in early and kind of set a little bit of the tone. He brings up a lot of fantastic questions and comments, and he's really a big help to the show. We'd like to get you up here on the panel sometime if you want.
He's a big help to both of our shows. His input is he's very tribal and very warrior all at the same time, isn't he, Royce?
Yes, he is.
And we even got a chance to wish him a birthday. So this has been a bit of a birthday party for him. Last Sunday was my birthday. He's a fellow Aquarian,
Okay.
I kind of dig the sign. I'm glad I was born. I don't believe in that nonsense, but
I don't either, but I'm glad I'm Taurus the bull.
A couple of Sundays before that, it was my birthday too. So
yeah,
there you go.
How many days?
Mine was the 4th. So
the 4th. Okay.
So you're Capricorn? Is that what it is? Yeah.
Capricorn.
Look at that. Hello, Royce.
Well, I married a Capricorn. There's nothing wrong with that.
Eric Schultz has a hilarious statement here. Hello, Royce. I thought Chuck Berry got his style from Marty McFly. But seriously, he does deserve the title of father in rock and roll. Yeah.
Yeah, because that movie, they're claiming that Chuck Berry stole his own lyrics.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't put it past him, Dan, but I love that tag. Your kids are gonna love it.
Yeah.
And they're still looking for his cousin Marvin.
If I'm not mistaken, isn't it also Joseph Blue's birthday today too?
It is. Yes.
Yes.
Birthday,
Happy birthday, Joseph Blue.
Yes.
Good to see you out there, brother.
Another fellow Aquarian.
Always
It
enjoyed
is
seeing
the
you there.
age, baby. It is the age.
And we've got John Hardy out here. You know, every time I see that, I think of the John Hardy I did this massive remodel for in Paso Robles. And every time that pops up, I wonder if he's on the show because he was aware of it. I was working on that when COVID hit, and we'd already bought tickets to go see the Rolling Stones and booked a hotel in San Diego where they were going to be playing and booked a flight. And boy, trying to unscramble that and get our money back at the end was like something else. I mean, I finally had to turn my wife loose on them on Ticketmaster, and they deposited the check. They deposited the money back in our account the very next day. After telling me, I called them over and over again, demanding my money, and they said, "Well, no, it's the show has to be canceled. This is just postponed. Until it gets canceled, it's postponed. We don't give the money back because it's been postponed." So finally, I called them, and they said, "Oh, you missed the timeline. We had a brief window where you could have gotten your money back, but we didn't hear from you." And I said, "I'm going to have to turn the secret weapon loose on them." My wife called them. We had the money the next day. But
I smell a Ticketmaster in there somewhere.
Oh my God! It was definitely Ticketmaster. Horrible.
Man,
Ticketmaster wants you to buy that insurance, that extra insurance for your ticket, so you can get a refund. You're guaranteed by insurance that refund immediately. But
yeah,
I've never bought it. I've never bought that insurance.
Yeah. Well, I thought Congress was passing laws against this monopolies on the tickets.
No, they're just barely winding through the initial processes. I think who was it testified not too long ago? Gene Simmons and all of that. They're dragging their heels. They always have been. We've been talking about legislation on my channel for 3.5 years. And I've covered stories when they come out, once a year, and you think something's going to be done. And then, all it takes is, a downturn economy or, ships moving over in here where it takes people's eyes off of it, Congress's eyes off of it. And it really needs to be looked at because mom and pops and chillin' everywhere are being ripped off by a bunch of wicked pirates called Ticketmaster.
It's absolutely horrible.
Yeah. And their parent company as well. So,
hey, 2 weeks ago, I bought tickets to go see George Thorogood with the Marshall Tucker Band.
Ooh.
But right before COVID.
Well, who's left in that band
now? I'm not sure.
Okay.
But anyways.
But George Thorogood, yeah.
My mom loved George Thorogood, and I had it set up for her birthday, but COVID canceled it. So now, anyways, but you were talking about Ticketmaster. It cost me about 175 Canadian each ticket.
Wow.
In total, if you include all of the fees and everything.
That would be
97, but all the rest,
that'd be like even below $100 here in the States. That's reasonable.
Well, that's reasonable. Very reasonable. You know that
these
song,
days anyway.
That iconic song of his, "Bad to the Bone." That was like a teenage anthem when I was a teenager.
Scotch and beer. I love that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I do too. I like a lot.
I remember that getting airplay right around the time when Werewolves of London came out, and I just love those two tracks. Put those two tracks if I had to drive at night. I was in the mood, baby.
Hey, let me say something to the audience. Whether you're watching now, you may be watching later. I mean, the shows are always available. I've got people watching shows. I have 400 people a month watching a show that's 2 years old. Anyway, and it's 6 minutes long. 400 people a month are watching. Anyway, if you haven't already hit that like button, please do so now. I've been falling short of my goal of 50, which is your first milestone to get the show distributed to a wider audience. I don't think I've hit 50. I was hitting it consistently for a while, but I haven't.
Yeah,
haven't hit it now in probably 6 weeks. And another thing I want to ask, so smash that like button. And another thing I want to ask is, if you're watching now, whether you watch later, whatever you do, please consider subscribing to the channel. We have hundreds of videos, hundreds of rock and roll videos. We got the Sunday live podcast, which usually lasts for, roughly an hour and a half, give or take. Sometimes as little as an hour, sometimes as much as 2. But then I do a lot of pre-recordeds that are anywhere from 4 to 20 minutes long, and they actually do real well. People like the pre-recordeds a lot. But anyway, so subscribe to the channel. All that stuff's going to be available to you. Hundreds of shows to go watch. You'll be glad you did. We even have a membership where we have members-only videos for you to watch as well. So anyway,
I do want to say this, Royce. You have an audience that's all your own. Plus, you've gotten some of the people from my side of the stream. If anybody out there has come out here, the majority of already know Royce. You knew Royce before you knew me, right? But if there's anybody that, out of curiosity, that came from my channel, listen, my money's on this, what we do. Dan's channel is just as amazing in a whole different light. But the one channel that I really promote, I often say that Dan is a brother channel to my channel. He is. I have a list of 5 channels I consider that I promote. Dan's one, but right. Royce is the brother channel to my channel. He's my partner in crime. If you're over here for any freaking reason concerning me, please do me a solid. And Royce, I love you, man. That's all I can say.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks.
Yeah.
Feelings mutual, and also Chris,
I know.
Dan too.
Absolutely. And these guys know what I feel of them.
Little bit of an awkward start, trying to get everybody together. So I just want to say, sitting next to me is the one and only Chris Elliott. Chris has a show on Zoom that you can go watch. He covers classic rock or more doo-wop, isn't it, Chris?
No, a little bit of everything. A lot of 60s.
You want to tell the people again how to find your channel?
Yeah, if you go to my YouTube channel itself, in the description part, there's it talks about it's a Zoom program. Wednesday afternoons at 3 p.m. Eastern time till about close to 5 o'clock usually.
Okay, right on.
But it's like blues, jazz, big band, doo-wop, rock and roll.
Well, it sounds like fun. And what time of the day is this typically on?
It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Eastern time.
I struggle with that.
So that's noon here, right? That'd be noon out here on the West Coast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, it would be.
Right.
High noon with Chris Elliott.
then directly below Chris, we have Michael Nolan, The Bottom Line. We just came from Michael's show. He goes at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're out here in California. He goes at 5 o'clock every Wednesday and every Sunday. And when his show's over, Michael and a contingent from Michael's show come over and we join my show and just keep the party rolling.
I was enacting what you were describing, Royce. Me running over to your show and sitting down, which is basically what happened tonight.
Right. So anyway, below me and adjacent to Michael Nolan, The Bottom Line, is the one and only Dan McNew. The name of the show is Just the Facts Man, and he's our friend Dan. He's got a great show. He covers all kinds of stuff, everything from the space shuttle blowing up to your trip to Birmingham on the 360-degree camera. You guys got to get over and watch that on Dan's channel. Go to Just the Facts Man. Check out all that stuff from Birmingham and so much other stuff. We did interviews. I mean, we interviewed Grand Funk Railroad, Mark Farner, and some other people. Go ahead, Michael.
Oh, I was just going to say regarding his 3D. I was so impressed. I had to go away and adjust my attitude, if you know what I mean. And then, man, it even looked better. But I was so impressed with it. I showed Kiki the thing. She loved it, Dan. What a great job.
I love that 360 camera. All you got to do is go around and you're there.
It was like being right next to, well, hovering over your head anyway, you know?
Hey, Dan, the Reverend Rock and Rollins come on, and he said the space shuttle blew up. Why don't you tell him briefly about the film you took of that?
Yeah, actually, it was 23 years ago this morning when it happened, and I'm a big space follower. Ever since the early space, Gemini and Mercury, for my entire life, I've been following this stuff. Yeah. So with the space shuttle, it was no different. So when it was coming in, I would find out what time it was coming in, and it always flew over Texas almost every time. So I'd get up 4 o'clock in the morning and watch it fly in. You'd see the green streak that it leave behind. It's pretty cool looking. Yeah. But on this one special day, they were doing it in the daylight, and I thought, I've never seen a daytime reentry. Yeah. So I timed it right. I'm watching the NASA channel, and once they cross over New Mexico into Texas, that's when you got to go outside because it comes over pretty quick.
Right.
So I'm watching it. Here it comes. So I jump outside, and I've seen them where they enter in the sky. I know exactly where they come in, where you can first see them. So I got my camera ready, and I see it. I'm recording it, and I just follow. Also, I realized that thing's breaking apart, and I got the whole shot.
Right.
Actually, I got a pretty controversial cover. I had a really high zoom on that camera, and I zoomed in. The space shuttle was actually going sideways. It wasn't coming in straight. It was coming in sideways.
Yeah, so that's because its left wing is what was hit by that foam, man. Yeah.
So NASA ended up getting a copy of that film, and they actually confiscated my camera as well, but they did compensate me for it, so I got a better camera.
Right.
Dan, like you, I'm into astronomy and the space race and all of that. Yeah. And, both shuttle disasters, you knew exactly where you were. It was like John Kennedy dying and John Lennon dying and the two shuttles. I was on my way out to Sonoma from Santa Rosa because my mother-in-law and my wife were shopping, and I was going to pick them up. And by the time I got there, I had to tell them the damn shuttle had exploded, Yeah. And I was on Highway 12 eastbound from Santa Rosa. Pretty profound stuff in my life.
I find it kind of ironic, too. Like I said, I followed NASA my entire life. Mm-hmm. And actually, NASA was founded 1 year. Well, on my first birthday is when NASA was founded. So I'm 1 year older than NASA. So I'm kind of a space baby.
Yeah.
Right. Well, there's certain things happen, and we all remember where we were when they happened. I remember where I was when, I was sitting in a 4th grade classroom when John Kennedy got shot. Yeah. And what an experience that was. And then, of course, 9/11. 9/11, I was at work in a company in San Luis Obispo, and everybody was huddled in the conference room around a TV. And I said, "What's going on?" They go, "Did you see what happened?" And I got to watch, not that I wanted to, but I watched the second one fly into the building. The first one had already flown into the building. But anyway, Donna the Frank is here. Dan's Birmingham video was a true treat. Well, thank you. Dan appreciates hearing that.
I agree. So you guys know it's not just me and Royce. Anybody who's seen it knows that I'm telling the truth. High def, beautifully, stably shot, professional in every way. Loved it. Man.
Yeah.
I'm going to be going back to Birmingham in August and to catch the Hollywood Vampire show in Birmingham.
Yeah.
So, and I got 3 tickets, really good seats. And it's basically sold out now in Birmingham.
I would have loved to go, but I'm not sure where I'm going to be.
But that kind of ties in with what we were talking about, the Ticketmaster and all that.
Yeah.
Remember, I quoted you that the highest ticket at that show was £90, which equivalents to about $120 here.
That damn decent price,
And I thought, well, that's not bad. 100. So I thought that's not bad, $120. So I went ahead and purchased the tickets. But when it's all said and done, they ended up being $205 a piece. Because of fees and everything else. So
I see. That's the part that kills me. I've been, seeing Santana's been on my bucket list since Woodstock. And when I saw he was going to be playing in Vegas, at the House of Blues in January and February, several different dates, I got kind of excited, and it was about like $190 or something. And then I went to buy some, and they were like, closer to 500. And I said, screw it, I'm not going.
Jeez.
He has to cancel shows the last couple of years because health issues and dehydration, and he has to cancel shows for a while and stuff. And you know what?
I say bring all those extra fees into the price and eat it, Ticketmaster, you bastards. No, right. Seriously. That's the cost of doing business. That's not us buying you a new, 401k, idiots.
So, okay, let's talk about Chuck Berry, guys.
Yowza.
Okay, so Chuck Berry primarily performed with his own touring band throughout his career, often hiring local musicians for gigs alongside long-term collaborator pianist Johnny Johnson. Early in his career, the Sir John Trio, which later became the Chuck Berry Combo, he was also supported by the Blueberry Hill Band for his club shows. So he had a kind of an interesting lineup there. Chuck Berry's discography, let's talk about that for a minute. It includes 20 studio albums, 12 live albums, 31 compilation albums, 31, 50 singles, 8 EPs, and 2 soundtrack albums. Now, I've got what I think is the #1 compilation album. I've got to pick that up and show that right now. It's a great album. I mean, I'm even gonna read the track list. This is crazy, man. This is called the double album set called The Great 28. 28 songs. I mean, 28 big songs. And like I said, it's
I love that cover. I love that album. That's good. I had that one.
Yeah.
On a CD, I think. But I am so behind on 50s artists.
And this is on Chess Records vinyl.
Nice.
And I'm gonna read the playlist. It starts out Maybelline, 30 Days, You Can't Catch Me, Too Much Monkey Business. That's a cool song. Brown-Eyed Handsome Man. That's a great song. Roll Over Beethoven, Havana Moon, School Days, Rock and Roll Music, Oh Baby Doll, Real Nana Rockin' Nana Real. Okay, now that's the Beach Boys. Okay, Sweet Little 16, Johnny Be Good, Around and Around. Okay, that's one of the albums. The other one starts out with Carol. It's a big hit. We've heard Rolling Stones and everybody else do that. Beautiful Delilah, Memphis, Sweet Little Rock and Roller, Little Queenie, Almost Grown, Back in the USA, Let It Rock, Bye Bye Johnny, I'm Talking About You, Come On, Nadine. Nadine has a special place for me because I had a good friend and he had twin boys plus an older boy. He taught them all how to play different instruments. They started the band and they were doing really, really good. I know they played at my oldest daughter's wedding. But Kurt was in the band, okay? So Dad was in the band with his 3 sons. And they were all still in high school. And Nadine was a biggie that Kurt liked to play himself. Nadine and Johnny Be Good. Anyway, but the next song in particular is what made me a Chuck Berry fan. I was, I think, 9 years old, 1964, and had my little transistor radio, fits in your shirt pocket with one little earplug. They cost about $7. We could get one channel, Kino, the rock channel in Las Vegas. Not real good, but we got it. Better at
and $7 was a purchase for a boy back in those days. By the way.
Oh yeah.
That wasn't chump change at all.
One of the older guys in the neighborhood walked over and he says, "Hey Royce, what are you listening to?" I said, "Chuck Berry." And he goes, "You know Chuck Berry?" And I go, "Yeah, man, it's my favorite, you know." And he goes, "Well, what song is it?" And I said, "No Particular Place to Go." And that song, at 9 years old, turned me into a huge Chuck Berry fan, and I've been one ever since.
That would be my second favorite song under Johnny Be Good, Royce.
Yeah,
because of the staccato of even the melody as he sings it, and the band. You almost get a pre-Latino approach to that song when I hear it. I love it. Yeah.
No, I get exactly what you're saying. I do.
Yeah.
Of course, I've got my,
And those wonderful codes, no particular ways to go.
I absolutely love that song.
Yep.
I got my Four Horsemen mugs here. I was going to get some T-shirts too, but the Four Horsemen. I actually have a saying about warriors that I was going to replace just the Four Horsemen mug. I haven't really set up a store or anything. I've traded a couple here and there for a subscription or a super chat. I'd make money on any of that stuff. I've got about 20 of them here.
He's losing money on it.
I've lost money on them. I haven't set a high price and put them in a store or anything.
Well, put one up for auction tonight.
Well, let me think about that. I don't want to pressure anybody or embarrass myself if nobody buys one. So anyway, all right. Let's talk Chuck Berry, baby. Let's talk Chuck Berry. Let's do this. Okay. So, anybody on the panel have anything to say right now about Chuck Berry? Any stories or?
Well, one thing I think is pretty cool is that that duck walk that he did.
Oh yeah.
Every time everybody wants to see the duck walk, and I think it's pretty cool how that's carried on all the way to AC/DC. With Angus Young. Angus Young duck walk too.
Guys, you want duck walk? I've got duck walk for you right here.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
And I was describing, right there, it looks like he's often he wrote in A flat, and B flat, but on the 5th fret, you use your ring finger and you bend that G string up full 2 notes, and then you bar on the 5th fret with your forefinger, the B and the high E string, and you just go bwant dip, bwant dip, bwant dip. That's the sound. And it's also known as the duck walk. And every time he would duck walk, he was usually playing a duck walk, on the guitar. Amazing.
Yeah.
Hey,
he is so proto rock and roll and actual rock and roll at the same time, because he was inventing ground rules in his, and a lot of people wouldn't compare him as far as a great guitar player, say a Van Halen or anything like that. No, he was too busy inventing the riffs that Van Halen had to learn in order to get as good as he was.
Right.
Absolutely.
I got a story about
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Yep.
So I got a story about the song Maybelline and how it got its title. I was actually earlier I was watching a
I saw some on that. Yeah.
Biography. It's actually available on YouTube, but somebody had the whole thing, so I watched it. And they were talking about how Maybelline the original title was a lot longer, and one of the studio guys was saying, well, just come up with a different name. So he said he was looking across the street, and lo and behold, there was just some little cosmetic shop by the name of Maybelline.
Mm-hmm.
We used that for the name, and it actually, I'm sure you're
Doc was giving Royce a bit of a history lesson and a joke all wrapped up in one on that very subject, Chris. Pre-show.
Yeah. Doc Insomnia knows so damn much about. Not just this band, but every band. Yeah.
Well, I even took when I was going through my book, I got a few things given the chance later. But one thing was Chuck Berry's live at the Fillmore. The backup band he used was the Steve Miller Band, live in 1967.
Okay.
He could do worse.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Well, Steve Miller Band is awesome. I wish they had been on the poll we just concluded. I loved them.
Oh, me too. Yeah.
They'll come. They'll get their turn.
That song, Night Moves, when I was a young framer out there, everybody had their shirt off. The radio was playing Night Moves, and we're all swinging our hammers trying to race each other so you can get to the end of the wall fastest.
Oh, the Silver Bullet Band was awesome too. Yeah.
That song came on, man. It was just amazing. Okay, so Kimba says, I read Graham's book, made me not like him. And then she came in. Of course, we must be talking about Chuck Berry there. Oops, sorry, Royce. No, Kimba, we appreciate that. We want to hear what you think.
Whose book was this? Was this Bill Graham's book or something? she's talking about?
I'm not sure. I mean, if it's Bill Graham, he's the owner of the, East and West. Yeah, exactly.
He'd be just the kind of personality that could bump against Chuck Berry. They both had a lot of grit and salt to their personality from, the footages and everything I saw. So,
well, I've read a number of stories about, Keith Richards. I mean, Chuck Berry was his hero. He plays so many Chuck Berry licks. He finally got an opportunity to go tour with him when the Stones weren't doing anything right at the time. And Chuck Berry was like, you know how it is. I mean, Keith's a good guitar player. He doesn't have to like copy the way Chuck's doing everything note for note or style for style. So he'd kind of play it his own way. And Chuck was like kind of mean to him,
He was
trying right, to say the least, right? Yeah. And so I think it wasn't a good experience for him getting his ass chewed.
I love the look of Keith's face too. Keith's like, what are you talking about?
Well, describe the scene. I haven't seen this, so describe it to me.
Well, it looked like they were doing some type of rehearsal, and
and it's kind of rehearsal.
And Chuck kept saying that Keith was doing it wrong, so he had to try to teach Keith how to hit this one chord and how to play it.
Right.
And he said he finally got it right. And Keith is like, what the hell?
Yeah, I thought that was I'd heard that for a long time.
That reminds me of a Police song. One day this ring will be wrapped around your finger. Yeah. That's what happens when the master magician tutors his student. I think it's good for Keith in the long run.
It kind of made me think, though,
a good point, Michael.
Chuck was kind of touchy about with Keith Richards, but when Chuck Berry did his shows, he was kind of a minimalist when it comes to a band, because he would pick up a band wherever he went.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what they did before. Did they rehearse before the show? I mean, for one time, or but whatever it was.
For the most part, he relied on a tight rhythm section, a piano player occasionally off to the side that would do bits and pieces of orchestration, and his guitar was center focus. Although I was listening to a couple of his albums in preparation for tonight's stream, and there were a couple of cuts that if I had it all over to do again and get in and remix that, so on some cuts he would bury his guitar too far in the mix. Those are my least favorite cuts. His guitar needs to be up front and the exciting thing happening when he isn't singing, and that's Chuck Berry at his best.
Another thing too, Chuck Berry did not like anybody touching his amp. He had it set exactly the way he wanted it. He didn't want anybody to touch it.
I didn't let anybody touch mine either, Dan. I had the settings exactly where I wanted them, and I didn't want to have. I'd even make notes on them and put them in my guitar case, but I didn't want to have to reach for that guitar case to reset the damn thing. You know
what's great is Flounder Gear Jam here is saying Angus actually does the duck walk through 25% of the concert. Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Boy, that guy looks like he's totally spazzing out on stage sometimes.
Yeah, there's a local AC/DC tribute band here in Dallas, and of course this guy he does the duck walk too, just like Angus and Chuck Berry. He does it great.
Right.
Probably one of the best AC/DC tribute bands I've ever seen. They're really good. Called Back in Black.
Okay, now, Dan, is that the same AC/DC tribute band that you saw waiting for Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons to show up at an opening? And you had the 3D camera there, because that was the first time I saw you use it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was them.
Okay.
Drove all the way to Oklahoma, only to find out that Paul and Gene weren't going to make it.
Oh God. Yeah. Now, who else showed up though? Was somebody that we both knew?
Jeff Davidson.
Jeff Davidson, that's right.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in a long time. I could do a discussion on Bob Seger on a future show. Yes, I could, Eric. Thank you.
Great songwriter, vocalist, and great band, Silver Bullet Band.
Oh no, he is. He's everything about what he does.
Around here, sort of.
But I swear to God, Royce, if I hear "Turn the Page" one more time, It's a great song, but man, it is one of the most overplayed songs on the radio, classic rock stations today. Turn the page. At least 3 or 4 times a day, you know?
Yeah, then Metallica starts playing it. You know, you hear Metallica's version.
Oh, God, yeah. Then they do that. Yeah, you're right, Dan.
Well, you know, man. This is cool. Donna the Frank is saying that the Rolling Stones' great live LP, Get Your Yayas Out, that really jumped out at me, Donna the Frank, because that, when I was a teenager, that was one of my favorite albums, was the live Get Your Yayas Out. Man, I wore that out. I finally have another one now, an album. This was an 8-track back in the day. But that is one of the best Stones albums, one of my favorite albums of all time.
Yeah, it's good.
They covered Carol and Little Queenie and knocked them out of the ballpark. Wow, that's awesome. My favorite live LP. One of my favorite too. For the longest time, it was my favorite.
I just saw something in the chat where they're talking about, somebody was talking, let's see, Mission RD 100 says, if the band sucked, it didn't matter since Chuck already got paid. I love how the story about Chuck Berry, how he got paid. If Chuck Berry was on stage performing, he already got paid. Yeah. He made sure he had that bag of money before he got on that stage.
Well, when you're dealing with, you know, hole in the wall bars, I can tell you, you know, you either know the guy because he's hired you before and he's worth his word. That can happen, and even that can be testy on a bad night. But I always try to get my money up front, you know. Yeah,
right. He might
because I know I'm a man of my word anyway. So
he might have caught the tail end of the Chitlin circuit. Some of the people might have been getting ripped off.
Well, the Chitlin circuit is what I went through on freaking steroids. You know, you're talking. You know, there was drama at our shows. We had one point where my brother was handling the tour, and the Hells Angels came in, and he demanded them to buy a ticket. I had to get in the middle and say, it's all right, man. It's on the house. You know, David won't back down from anybody. He's the one that's closest to me. So he's 69 now. But, you know, that man as a boy got me into more fights than I can remember. You know, I just am trying to get out of them, and everything else, you know, was horrible. But I've dealt with that kind of drama. The Chitlin circuit at the end of the night. See, that would be my tale at the end of the night. And another 10 shows that went relatively okay. So it happened, but it was okay. The Chitlin circuit was how many people's throats were slit that night, and how many were survived and were sent to the hospital, and who slept out on whose girlfriend and or wife. I mean, it was like steroids, man. You can smell the sawdust from here.
A lot of people getting killed. A lot of performers that
a lot of legendary. How about Sam Cooke? Yeah. You know, he came out of that whole circuit and everything. Backdoor Man Supreme, right there.
Robert Johnson, Sam Cooke.
Yeah, another backdoor man.
Robert Johnson.
Yeah. So let's see. Hey, Dan, did you notice Jeff Davidson's here? I was just commenting how I haven't seen him in a while. Now he's here.
Oh, okay, there he is. Yeah. Oh yeah.
He was.
You guys hooked.
He was here, but he just wasn't going to let you know, Royce.
Hey Jeff, it's great to see you, man. Stop in.
It is, Jeff.
We appreciate you. Yeah.
Hope your evening's going well, brother.
We've missed you.
Gear Jam.
You amaze me. Nobody knows or has heard of Tammy's show in 1964. The Stones nailed everything at that one. Wow.
Oh, I love the Tammy show. I watched it.
Flounder Jam. Formerly Erger Split and Loudon Boomer.
Right.
But they changed it all up. They grabbed, you know, I was.
But you have to, you have to really lean into Gear Jam's, you know, secret identity. Erger Split and Loudon Boomer. Right. See, the man has gravitas.
Yeah, no, I haven't been doing that. Wait. What did I see here about John and Yoko?
Well, I'm shameless. You know me, Royce.
Oh, you're John and
Yoko.
No,
I know. Yeah.
You see the footage of what Chuck was performing with John. What song were they singing? I think they were doing Memphis or something live.
Yeah.
And Yoko was in the back. She started singing, and then one of the crew shut her mic right off. She started singing. Chuck looked over with that look that was laser.
Oh yeah,
I've
seen the video of that. That look on Chuck's face is priceless.
Oh yeah,
I'll tell you, I get so much shit about having a real negative view on Yoko, and I hear this stuff all the time, and I go, why do I get so much shit? Because I don't care for her, you know? I mean, I'm glad John fell in love. That's all good for him, right? But I think she took his eye off the ball a bit. Yeah, but, you know, that's the price and the power of love, you know?
Well, yeah,
but I just don't, even her best stuff is
horrifying,
almost non-offensive to me. Okay, and this is the stuff that people give me shit about, use as an example of her good stuff. I mean, it's not all it's her doing that with an actual melody, but it sounds better. Yeah, some of her stuff off Double Fantasy wasn't truly offensive, but it got in the way of songs like Woman, you know, Starting the Wheels, you know, all of that, you know, his great songs on that album, and the songs that would then later come out, which he was recording around the same time, which would have made the perfect album, which was Milk and Honey. Okay, and instead we had to buy both of those because it was essential as a John Lennon fan to even get half an album. But it would have been much better if they had just released Milk and Fantasy or Double Honey instead of those two albums without her. Now, I know there's lots of people that love her, but you've heard it. How many horror stories have we heard on Royce, you know, the Four Horsemen in the last month and a half about her?
Well,
that's her. Though,
I mean,
you know?
I
just don't get it.
Who am I to judge? But it's just odd that John Lennon disappears. It goes back to Los Angeles on what's called the Lost Weekend, which I understand might have lasted a year and a half. And she sends her assistant, what is it, May Pang, to go with him and keep him company, be a sexual
It was
partner.
that move that led me to call her, and my nickname for her is the Dragon Lady. Isn't that what some evil, you know, Japanese or Chinese empress would do? You go to my man and keep an eye on him while I run the universe, you know? What a dick move.
Let me do it. Let me do a quick shout out. On the screen, I have George, music for all 4 seasons. And I just want to give him a shout out and ask everybody to go check out his channel. George,
I want to say the same thing, George. We noticed you in the comments over on my show. Thanks for showing up, brother.
Yeah, we appreciate you showing up here too.
Yep.
And always good to see some of the people we haven't seen in a little while. But I was pretty sure I saw you last week on the channel too. Anyway, I'll say it once again now. If you guys, you know, we've kind of had low numbers on the like button. We try to have a minimum of 50 likes. That's kind of a milestone for the algorithm to, like, you know, promote your show a little bit more, push it out there a little bit harder. So I think we're in the low 20s right now. So I don't know what our odds are getting to 50. I know we've got quite a few people in the chat, and there's people that aren't in the chat that are watching. If you don't mind, smash that like button. And if you're not already a subscriber, whether you're watching now, whether you're going to watch tomorrow, a week from now, or 3 weeks from now, subscribe to the channel. You know, you'll have a chance to look at it and see all the shows that are available for you to watch. All these rock and roll shows, rock and roll history. I think you're going to enjoy it. Most people that have subscribed have enjoyed it. So anyway, thanks very much.
And
I appreciate it.
We're up to 30 right now.
Yeah,
Thank you, folks. We need 20 more. 20 more.
20 more would be great. 20 more would be great.
We have 40 watching, right? So it would be nice if we could get 10 more, at least right there. And then even if we don't reach the 50, Royce stands a better chance to hit that 50. And if he gets it within the first 24 to 36 hours of his stream, it means more views for him, folks. So thank you. We're up to 33. Thank you.
Michael's exactly right. You know, you guys all know that we'll do the show. In the show, we could have anywhere from 160 views to. There's been times where I've had between 400 and 600 views at the end of the show. It doesn't happen every day, but it does happen. And anyway, so it just goes to
We're
show
up to 35, 15 to go.
Oh, great. Thank you all so much. Yeah. Hey, we got Bill K here. Hey, Bill, how are you, brother?
Hey, Bill.
How's it going, Bill?
Bill's
Royce,
been around for a while.
Another story about the song Maybelline, too.
Okay, go for it.
Like, well, there was, at least according to the documentary I was watching earlier, Chuck Berry actually wrote his own contract for his first record contract.
Nice.
It said he had to rewrite it 8 times to get it where he liked it, and then he still got screwed afterwards. But it says he was offered a contract and recorded his first tracks, Maybelline and Wee Wee Hours. Though Berry himself preferred the latter, the former was released as the A-side after it had been co-credited by Alan Freed, who was a disc jockey or a music director at a radio station. And he personally suggested modification to enhance its commercial exposure with the radio. He was able to supply the song immediate U.S. top 10 hit, but, and this was the first time, one of the reasons why Chuck Berry insisted on getting paid up front is he was looking at the royalty checks and he's going, what the hell? I only got 1/3. Well, the music, his manager took 1/3 as a credit, and the record store guy got 1/3 as a credit for the writing credits. So that's one of the reasons Chuck Berry was saying, no, up front first.
You know what, Chris? You mentioned the Wee Wee Hours. You know, I've got to rethink that title considering his last big hit.
Mm-hmm.
Wee Wee Hour hours takes on a whole different complexion now.
Yeah, I don't know if his
well,
when
you consider what his one and only #1 hit was, on the Billboard 100.
Yeah.
Okay, so John Hardy, I like his comment here. Yoko originally hit on Paul. Yes, she did. I've read that many times.
Came right to his doorstep, and he couldn't send her to John fast enough.
Yeah, no kidding. She just wanted to tap into that Beatles money. She didn't care which one it was.
Then she spent the next 14, 15 years lying about it. Oh, I don't even know what Beatle mean. Never heard of it. Yeah, you lie.
Yeah, I'm not a foe of hers or anything. But you know what? I've got this Frank Zappa triple album set recorded live at the Fillmore East, and all this stuff was recorded like in the 60s and early 70s, and some of it's just now being released. They had such great, great sound in there. The way he set everything up, Bill
doesn't his estate release an album a week these days? Isn't
whose estate? Bill Graham's or?
No, Zappa.
No, they're not releasing an album a week. No.
Oh, okay. I thought I had heard they were releasing.
Well, I think they released 2 around Halloween that were called Halloween, and they were separate albums.
Okay.
But anyway, well, I can't.
You were talking about Bill Graham. I'm sorry, Royce, to interrupt.
Yeah, he demanded excellence from himself, from his employees. He wanted the sound system to be perfection. And it was so good. He'd done such a good job, East and West, that everybody recorded their live shows there. And it's been, some of them are so many years in the making, finally getting them out. But I have a collection of Fillmore East and West albums. And one of them that I ordered was Zappa. And it was a 3-album set. And I did a show on this too. I did a show on John and Yoko on stage at the Fillmore East with Frank Zappa, and what happened. They stole one of his songs, took writing credit for it, and put it on. Yeah. They had an agreement, I'm gonna record all this, Zappa told them, and I'll give you a set of the tapes. You do whatever you want with yours, I'll do whatever I want with mine. But they didn't expect him to take one of Zappa's songs, King Kong, give it a new name, and take writing credit for it.
No, he was inviting them to arrange it.
But let me get back to why I even brought that up. Because Yoko Ono, it's a 3-album set. So the first side of album 2 is called side 3, and that's the recording of her that I've got a picture of in the video that I have of that, and she screams, is caterwauling through every single song. It doesn't fit. It's just a freaking scream. It's not a nice scream. It's not Robert Plant screaming. It's a freaking moron screaming. And she does that through an entire side of the album, every song.
Yeah. Well, she does that exact same thing in what could have been another great Lennon album, Live in Toronto.
Yeah. But
don't worry, Kyoko, Mama's hand is in the snow, or whatever that thing was.
Yeah, but why would anybody think that's adding to the song, adding to the music? It's not music. It's horrible.
Takes all kinds.
I know. Hey, Novice Nick, how you doing, brother? Support your horseman. Yes.
Amen.
Thank you, Nick. Good to see you.
Nick. Yeah.
I think what's
could have
funny
used you last week, brother.
I think what's funny is that clip of them performing on was the Michael Douglas show, and Chuck Berry standing, and when he looks over at Yoko when she starts singing. If you notice, John walks away from Yoko and walks up to Chuck Berry. They're like, no,
yeah, hilarious. Yeah,
that's crazy, man. Just crazy.
He had to be embarrassed. I mean, Chuck.
Well, the thing is, John had already a well-documented history of rushing to Yoko's beck and call and defense. It was all filmed, quite a bit of it in Let It Be. The tabloids were talking about it and everything. And I would imagine John sauntered over to go, it's all right, it'll be over in just a minute.
Well, okay, let's see here.
That woman put a spell on that boy, I'll tell you. Which half is suspected, Royce?
I know. Okay, so Chuck Berry, his recording career began in 1955 with the release of his single Maybelline. Spanned a total of 62 years. 62 years. That's a career, man. Although the later 4 decades, of course, featured few to no releases. Okay. His most prolific and successful period spanned the 50s and early 60s, not all the 60s, early 60s. Okay. During which time he recorded for Chess, like the double album I have is by Chess, okay. By 1960, he had released most of his hits, including Maybelline, Roll Over Beethoven, Sweet Little 16, and Johnny Be Good. Legal troubles resulted in Chuck Berry's imprisonment, okay. I don't know if everybody knew that. In 1961, it caused a reduction in his output, you think, but his release in 63, combined with an interest in his songs, thanks to the British invasion, they were all playing his songs. Okay,
we call those years the Little Richard, Chuck Berry / Jerry Lee Lewis curse years.
Well, the British invasion bands playing his songs, like the Stones in particular, the Beatles some. They rejuvenated his career. Chuck Berry had only one song reached #1 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100, the novelty live recording My Ding-a-Ling, in 1972.
Be sure to listen to that one in the wee hour.
I know. Despite his massive influence on numerous top 10 hits like Sweet Little 16, which peaked at #2 in 58, Johnny Be Good, this 72 song was his sole chart topper, okay, meaning My Ding-a-Ling, not Johnny Be Good. So Chuck Berry died, sadly, March 18th, 2017, at the age of freaking 90 years old.
Yep.
Wow. The legendary rock and roll pioneer passed away at his home in St. Charles County, Missouri. Okay, let's talk.
A true legend passed that day, I'll tell you.
Let's talk just for a moment about the debate with Elvis, okay? The title King of Rock and Roll was first applied to Elvis Presley by a reporter in 1956. While Elvis is credited with bringing the genre to a massive mainstream audience, critics always point out that Berry's songwriting and guitar work provided the actual blueprint that every rock band has followed since. Okay, in the 50s, Berry was influenced by his friend Ira Harris, who showed him techniques on the guitar that would later become the foundation of Berry's original sound. Influenced by blues, country, swing, he developed a unique style that would later define rock and roll. His guitar skills were honed at a very early age, folks, very early age. He also later defined rock and roll, okay, with his style. His guitar skills were honed at a very early age. He also drew inspiration from blues legends such as Muddy Waters, T-Bone Walker, many others. So anyway,
hey Royce, may I touch on that?
Yes, you may. Absolutely.
So I have something because he's known for like his guitar work and his his chops and all that, but he's also known for his singing and his clarity of his lyrics. And when he was younger, he said one of his early favorite musicians was Nat King Cole.
Yeah.
And he studied the way he would sing just to try and teach himself to sing super clear. No matter what he was singing, he just wanted to make sure he was as clear like Nat King Cole was.
Yeah, Nat King Cole's voice was crystal clear.
Yeah, I agree with Nat King Cole. Big fan of him. But getting back to this idea of comparing him to Elvis, Royce, and you were going to ask the panel. My response to that is, why is Elvis known as the king of rock and roll and Chuck Berry isn't? When everything we've talked about tonight indicates that he really should be. I agree with you, Royce. All right.
Well, I think there was some. Okay, go ahead.
I'm not done. I wanted to make this point. Elvis played a Frankie Avalon role here. Okay? Frankie Avalon was the safe answer to Jerry Lee Lewis and the rockers who were involved in the Mann Act and, Sam Cooke getting killed and Chuck Berry going to prison and a dozen others. And Frankie Avalon came and sold a safe as milk version of pop rock as you could possibly hear, almost killed rock here in the United States. So here's what happened with Elvis. This is my theory anyway. This does not take away early Elvis and a handful of songs he did later. But from that, he's great at that. He was legitimate. Right. He had his own sound, but I think he was the Frankie Avalon safety guy that got all the little white girls' titties in a tussle for the first time. And of course, later, that gave permission for the little white girls to get their titties in a tussle over black artists. So it was an exchange. And so who did more for rock and roll? Ultimately, there is an argument that Elvis did more, acting as a, what do you call that? An ambassador to the world at large. Even the Beatles held him in highest esteem over Chuck Berry, and they loved Chuck Berry. That would be the biggest argument against him. But in the final analysis, if it was just between me and Royce and God, Chuck Berry would be named the new king of rock and roll. He invented the genre out of the blues and pop. He did it.
I kind of like the term "father of rock and roll."
I agree
because I think he laid the foundation that Elvis didn't do what Chuck Berry did. Chuck Berry set the standard. The songwriting, guitar playing, the movements on stage.
Right. Yep.
And of course, Elvis didn't write his song, so that's a strike against Elvis right there. I think.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But since Chuck laid the foundation, I think he should be called the father. That's what fathers do.
Right.
They teach the next generation.
Right.
Well, you can say Elvis is the king, but I still think Chuck is the father.
Even Elvis.
Well, then, if that's true, by that kind of line of thinking, wouldn't that make him the president of rock and roll? After all, George Washington is considered the father of our country. I don't know. Just a thought.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think the reason he went to jail, he was making money with his picture on it, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway,
well, don't forget Elvis.
Well, I personally think because of the times, 50s, early 60s, there were racial overtones. They didn't want a black man to be considered the king of rock and roll.
Yeah. Well, there was other similarities too. I mean, Chuck Berry had Berry Park. He had his own amusement park and campgrounds. Mm-hmm. Elvis had, Graceland, and there's a lot of different, comparisons there.
Comparisons.
And Elvis has performed many Chuck Berry songs. Well, during his career, he was, what was it, during one of his comeback specials? What was it, Johnny Be Good? I think he performed. Yeah. Royce, you would probably know better than I would, but
I'm not sure, really, Chris.
No, I mean, either way.
Well, and Elvis also
60 years.
But my point is the fact that even if Elvis is playing Chuck Berry's, it would definitely more make Chuck Berry a father figure than per se the king.
I think the magic trick that Elvis pulled off was not only was he like that Frankie Avalon, give your daughter permission to go see him and love his records and put up his posters, but he was dirty enough. Those gyrating hips, that curl to his lip. He wasn't just a Frankie Avalon. He was as dirty in his presentation as any black artist could be, and it gave white America permission to delve in. And as a result, I truly believe the resurgence of the blues in America was driven. One, English bands coming over who never forsook their fondness of the blues, even though America temporarily had. And on top of that, the influence of all what we've been talking about tonight brought it to a point. Like I said, I agree with you, Royce. I think if you're just going to talk about, he is a songwriter, first of all. He's a singer.
He's a songwriter.
We talked about how he's different.
Great
singer.
Great guitar player, too.
He's the proto guitar player to every freaking guitar player you can name tonight. Name anybody. Van Halen, Steve Vai, Jimi Hendrix, Jimmy Page. Name them all. He's the prototype. He's the guy. He's the original Wright brother flight, successful flight. And then some of them took and they invented jets. But it was on his back, his research, his creativity. He deserves #1 spot in rock and roll. Just as he's the creator of it. Now, along the line, same thing. I don't know when the Crickets came along. Buddy Holly researched that too. Another safe white boy who loved black blues and everything else, right? But see, this was the reintroduction to America. Okay, well, at least we still have real rock, even though a lot of the black artists who created it, Chuck Berry, you can also talk about other people who came out that same year who had been out for a while, already showing proto signs and everything right along with him. But no one man covers the wide swath: songwriter, singer, guitar player, performer, and inventor of all the formative guitar licks that all of us have learned when we wanted to play serious guitar. 5 areas.
Man, you want to know
that's right.
What also makes Chuck Berry unique amongst artists, and this kind of goes more to the person who Chuck Berry is that when he was on the road, he was Chuck Berry. When he was in the studio, he was Chuck Berry. When he was off the road, he was Charles Berry. He was married for 69 years.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you went home, there was nothing. Chuck Berry went out the door as soon as he walked in. And
I'm glad to have heard that story, Chris.
I can say that.
Yeah. No, I like that story. That's a real man. I've got a stage presentation, but I'm Charles. I love it.
He also played music until he couldn't hear himself sing, and he couldn't hear his the keys he was playing his guitar in And that's when he decided, okay, that's enough. Maybe his family might have had something to do with that. Perhaps he was having issues, but
right. Well, like I said a little while ago, there was a resurgence for Chuck Berry because of the British invasion, and they came over and were playing his songs, you know. But you know what? They also loved Elvis. Okay, and I fall on the side where Chuck Berry's the king of rock and roll. But I also grew up in Henderson, Nevada, and Elvis had 2 residencies there. The first residency, the conservative audience went crazy when he started shaking his hips and gyrating, and they didn't like him. He was getting bad reviews. But when he came back into the second residency, everything had changed. He played to a sold-out show every single night, and everybody loved him. It's funny the difference 10 years can make, you know. And we've all seen that, especially in music. But I did a video last year. Elvis Presley and Led Zeppelin both had this same guy that set up their road trips, right, for their tours and stuff. And so he arranged for Led Zeppelin, after an Elvis performance, to go backstage to Elvis's hotel room and meet him, you know. And I did a video on that, and it was a lot of fun, you know. It talked about all kinds of stuff. But, you know, in Into the Outdoor, there's a song where Robert Plant is imitating Elvis singing, okay? And so that's all part of the story. It's been a while since I've done it. It's been a couple of years, I think. But when they all got done, Led Zeppelin left. The Led Zeppelin guys left. They're walking down the hallway, and Elvis swings the door open and bends around the door, and he goes, "Hey, Robert!" And he started singing one of his songs, and Robert sang back, and then he'd sing, and it got so emotional. As the story goes, Elvis and every member of Led Zeppelin were crying at the end of it.
Wow.
Because, I mean, they really looked up to Elvis, you know, the way he performed. And I think Robert Plant took things from Elvis, you know, performing on stage. But anyway.
Those days, it wasn't always a good thing to meet Elvis if you were a rocker.
Yeah, right.
Ask John Lennon.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Oh, and I had one more thing too about with Chuck Berry and how the respect he had for his family and everything. When he first started performing, he changed the spelling of his name because his father was a minister. So when he started playing rock and roll music, he didn't want his last name tied to his father, where he would get in trouble with the church and everything. So he started spelling his name Berryn. He'd put an N on the end of it, and then eventually, his father and the church came to an agreement that he can play rock and roll and he can use his real name. So then he switched to using his real name. Gotcha. But out of respect for his father, he made sure he changed the spelling of the name.
Right. That's interesting.
Like all the things, like even what's the one album? When he was in prison, I think for tax evasion, the one time. The album, where is it? They recorded an album that it was, where is it here? I got it written down. But he was in jail. They recorded an album called Chuck Berry on Stage. And the one guy and the producer, he was saying, all it was is we had a bunch of studio outtakes and whatever and songs, and we just piped in audience sound to it, made it sound like it was live. So it would sound like he was still relevant, even though he was in jail.
Oh my God! In other words, they turned his album into a sitcom,
basically, just to make it sound like he was, he was still relevant.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. Great story.
If you look at this comment up on the screen here from Bill K, this is something that keeps coming up. Okay, I was the first one to bring it up, but while Chuck Berry was foundational in writing the rock blueprint, he encountered significant racial discrimination, such as his publicity photos being lightened to look whiter.
I had not heard that, brother, but I would not doubt that story in the least. It sounds like it was a probable I know of other black artists that they did that going back to the 30s, you know, and that kind of prejudice exists even in the black community. You know, a lot of darker blacks feel like they're more discriminated against lighter blacks, you know, and that's part of our history. I think we've come a long way to get past a lot of ways. There's always room for improvement, but you know, sometimes you have to give. You know, when you're talking about a country with 350 plus million people, you can't just get something accomplished overnight. There has to be a bit of patience, but always demand forward movement. You know what I mean? Yeah. And and I'm talking about prejudice here right now. I'm not talking politics or anything like that. I think both sides of the political party have had about enough of the kind of prejudice that once existed in our country. And it's time for it to finally die, but on both sides of the fence.
It is, you know, time
we need to start looking at people, at each other. That's what I always preach on my channel. My tribe is black, Oriental, Hispanic, white, mixed, you name it.
Well,
Japanese, you know. And I don't see a difference between them because we're all just humans, and we need to stop this nonsense and predispositions on what we feel about that group of people because we don't understand them. Be open to understand them, and it's time for America to embrace core values once again and base everything on a moral good ground, which includes treating every member of this planet Earth as an equal. And guess what? It's not your dream. You're not the main star in your own movie. We're all one living organism, Royce. You know?
Well, you know, I can honestly say, Michael, since we're bearing our souls here about prejudice, I have never, ever had a prejudice bone in my body. And there's probably situations, I mean, I grew up in just outside of Las Vegas. And I've been in situations where, you know, some people may have become prejudiced being in those same situations I was in. Okay. And a few times in Las Vegas. And not only that, my first job in California was in Compton, California.
Right.
I was actually working at a huge warehouse that was full of, you know, reel-to-reel tape and cassettes, and everything to do with music was in that warehouse, you know.
Oh,
and I was you know, like 19 years old, and I was one of the guys that would go up to the desk and get an order and go out and find everything. And nobody in there knew where anything was at. It was like insane. It was so unorganized. You kind of got to know where everything was over time. And when you needed a forklift, you jumped on one. And I remember I was the only white guy in there in Compton, California, and everybody was wearing leather jackets. So I thought, I'll wear my leather jacket. I got this one that went down past my knees, double-breasted belt. And one of the brothers walks up and he goes,
"Stop laughing, folks! It was the day. I had a couple of those."
And brother walks up and goes, he had this little short blue leather jacket that just went to the waist. And he goes, "Hey man, let's switch jackets for the day." And I go, "Okay, sure, why not? I'm trying to fit in and be one of the guys." And so we switched jackets for the day, and he was like a little slow to give mine back at the end of the day. Like he wanted to keep it. Anyway, he gave it back. I never had any problems there, really, you know. I got stories I won't even tell here.
Well, Royce, I think that's one of the reasons you and I are personal friends as well. We both believe in a set of core values. You know, try not to lie, try not to cheat. You know, don't steal what doesn't belong to you. You know, let's get down to the core values and that's what I judge my fellow man on, if I do any judging whatsoever, because as soon as I point my finger, I realize I've got 3 of my own sins pointing right back at me. But we do need to adhere to a core value, a set of core values, and then express yourself in whatever way you see fit. I'm not saying that I'm not talking about people who decide to have a sex change or whether you're gay or you're straight. I don't give a shit about that. What I care about is whether you're gay, straight, or a bindigo, many tekel parson on the wall. I don't care who you are. I want to judge you by your actions, and I want to get closer to you because we share a certain amount of core values, right? I had a great time several times connecting with Rachel. She's a trans woman of color, as you well know. Yeah, and there, especially early, I had a real good connection with her. I'm not judging her by my own set of standards. Who the hell am I to judge anybody? And like I said, every time I wind up trying to do that, because I think we all have prejudices that we have to overcome. That's what human growth is all about. And when we overcome them, we learn the lessons, we become better people. And when all of us embrace that, we become a better society, plain and simple, Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I've never had any issues. I've probably had reasons to have issues, but it just didn't affect me that way,
Yeah.
Actually,
Any issues I've had in those areas, I quickly dismissed. I came from a Southern family. I was born in North Carolina. And on my mom's side was very Oklahoma. All right. And so you had family things that could be said that you later learned, oh, you don't use that term, and because I was primarily raised here in California, but with a real, if you just get down to it, I guess we were transplanted Hicks. But most of my life I was in California, except for 1 year that I spent in high school back in North Carolina. So to me, if somebody who comes from that kind of background can improve the little that I have in a generation, it makes me hope for my children who'll do it a little better than me. And that's how real change happens.
Yeah.
Generation after generation.
I thought like long before now the prejudice was going to be a thing of the past, to be perfectly honest. Me too.
Yeah, in my youth, I really thought we had a beat on it there for a while.
Well, it was a very rude awakening to find out, 30 years later, I had nieces and nephews in an adjoining town that were anyway, I'm not going to get into it. Anyway, I want to say hello to Vinyl and Kicks 86. I've got him up here on the screen, and I appreciate you showing up. Please come back, and Dalek Shalom below him, Shalom. Thanks so much for joining us. And I know you've been coming to the show, and I appreciate that. But
yeah,
Dr. Insomnia. Dr. Insomnia is he is a walking encyclopedia when it comes to all things rock and roll. Pat Boone,
and like about 6 others, there's like maybe 6 to 10 of you out there that are equally connected to Royce and my show. We really do appreciate you folks. Doc is one of them. Storm Cop, Divining Dragon comes to mind. Rockin' Robin Bird. All you folks are so key to us, and we really love the hell out of you.
Right. Yeah, Joseph Blue's right. Pat Boone was squeaky clean.
Yeah, Joseph Blue's another. There's one I could have easily mentioned. I could go on and on. There's a core group of you that have really supported this endeavor that Royce and I, when we finally got married, and I decided to do my show just before his, and you guys have supported it week in, week out. We love the hell out of you for that. Thank you.
For clarification, though, we got married, but not to each other.
Oh, I thought it was the real deal. Oh, you've ruined my night.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Kimba, Pat Boone has a YouTube channel. He sometimes reads. I can see him reading Bible passages.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pat Boone covered Chuck Berry's.
He probably should have been a minister, He's always been close to his faith, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Something you guys just talked about, Michael and Royce.
Yeah.
Well, you were just saying about the fine people that are associated with your show, and Royce and Dan and everybody. And I don't know everybody as well as you guys do, but from my time just hanging out with you guys on this show and in your shows, Michael, and just it's nice to hang out with people that are just true and honest in what they say and they feel. And there's no games. We're all here to talk about music, to share something we have in common,
and even argue about it, right, Chris?
Exactly. Even disagree, whatever.
But we all love each other at the end of it. That's the thing, man.
That's what I like about this, is because it's no secret. My dad's going through a lot of health issues, and there's, I got a lot of, everybody does, I get it, but there's a lot of stuff. And every Sunday night joining you guys it's therapy, basically. So I just wanted to add that. You guys are, in this whole group of people, everybody in the chat, you guys
I can think of at least 4 people right now who have told me that personally, in either messages or comments, that these streams are like my Sunday night therapy or my Wednesday night therapy,
Absolutely.
And I appreciate that. And I want it to be positive. It doesn't mean we won't disagree, but I wanted to do it in love. Oh, you silly man. Don't you realize that Chuckberry isn't anybody, and that it's Bill Haley and his Comets who established rock and roll, and come back and forth at each other. But at the end, we go, all right, you stretched my belief system a bit tonight, and every meeting we have on these streams, believe it or not, Royce and I and Dan and Chris were malleable. I hear something enough times, I got to at least look into it, right, Royce?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And it really has created, I call it on my side, a true tribe, right?
Right.
There's a tribe. Over here, we are called warriors, but all of us are very tribal, and all of us are very forthright and honest warriors.
Yeah.
Right. And we can take a little combat within the realms of classic rock, and and say nice meat there. You got me on that one, but I'll get you next time. That's fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking at this. I've got it up right now. Winslow Red Cross, great guy. He goes, and I've read this many times before. And it's Elvis, and he's going, I may not be a Led Zeppelin, but I can still pack them in. And it says, as far as selling out of comfort, Elvis supposedly said, he did say that, I can still pack them in. I love that. Imagine just try to imagine being Elvis. You were at one time raised up so high, on a pedestal. And all of a sudden, it's the early 70s, and Led Zeppelin's dominating. How do you compete with that?
Well,
you make movies.
Yeah, he had trouble competing with the Beatles before Led Zeppelin. There are seismic shifts in classic rock. That will make you seem old-fashioned overnight if you don't watch your back and keep producing.
Right.
It's a cutthroat business.
Yeah, so George Music for All 4 Seasons says that Barry only served 4 months for tax evasion. He was even in prison in the 40s for armed robbery.
Yeah, he robbed like 3
I read something about that. Yeah,
I think he robbed 3 gas stations.
Yeah, and stole a car. And,
I don't even want to talk about that.
Well, he was also arrested. I think it was his 3rd time arrested or something. He was with... the story is he was with a prostitute, and they were going across state lines, and the cops pulled him over, and she turned out to be underage, and she was white on top of that. So, yeah.
Well, that was what I was alluding to when I said the Jerry Lee Lewis and 14-year-old cousin, and then Chuck Berry. That's what I was alluding to. That was the one thing that kind of, I think, put the biggest black eye on his career as far as the white controlled music industry was concerned at the time.
That's what it was. Yeah. You know, look at this comment from Dr. Insomnia. He says Hank Ballard originated the song "The Twist." Chubby Checker so famous for, but couldn't get a hit because he was too black. So Dick Clark found a lighter skinned black Chubby Checker who had the big hit.
Oh wow!
And that's kind of how it was, guys. That's kind of how it was.
And I swear to God, that hit. I was a small kid when that hit. I don't know if I had been to kindergarten yet. I have clear memories. We were temporarily living with my mother's sister, my aunt, and her family. And so they'd have all the adults over. My mom had at that point, we had all 5 kids. They had 4. And so other adults would come over and the kids would play around. They get bored playing outside. They come in. The damn adults were playing Chubby Checkers and doing the twist. These were people well into their 30s and the men hitting into the 40s, right?
Right.
So, yeah, that was a big freaking hit.
Yeah.
I think that did more to continue if it didn't start the dance craze stuff that other billions of artists came out with,
Yeah.
Do the locomotion and,
mashed potato.
Yeah.
Mashed potatoes.
One thing that Chuck Berry has, though, that helped him throughout his career, I mean, aside from somebody, putting an audience track on an album for him, but is the fact that he performed for so long, he performed with so many people, and his music was so popular. It was like the scene from Pulp Fiction. I mean, how many, like maybe of his CD compilations or something he sold after that dance scene in Pulp Fiction.
Well, and on top of that, that's a good point, Chris, because when Pulp Fiction came out, Chuck Berry was all of a sudden cool again.
In the news again, yep. Exactly. A resurgence.
Kids, teenagers love the hell out of him just because of that freaking movie. Same thing happened with, what is that called? Stranger Things, when they brought on Kate Bush's song, Running Up That Hill. And it revived her. There was a nomination for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, not the real Mount Rock Olympus Hall of Fame, but that lame ass pretender to the throne actually got a nod when she should have been nominated 2 decades ago. A real shame,
A funny story. When Chuck Berry got his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, apparently you get charged a fee for it.
Of course, it's Hollywood.
And Chuck Berry refused to pay. So apparently someone else paid for it so that he'd get his star there. But he refused. He goes, "You're giving me a star and you want me to pay for it?" No.
That's right.
Yeah, I seen pictures of him laying down by his star and stuff when I was doing research. Look at this. I just want to say hi to someone that I haven't seen here before. Sneaker Set. Hey, thanks so much for joining us. I appreciate it so much. Sneaker Set. Chubby Checker doing the twist, laughing out loud. Oh, that was a tough one, man. Chubby doing the twist. Okay, 37 thumbs up. Thank you, Dan. I think we're closing in on final statements here, folks. I'll go first. First of all, I want to thank the panel, and all your great help putting this show on. I want to thank everybody in the chat. I saw quite a few new people here today, and that's exciting. We're all trying to grow our channels. The more the better. The more the better. Tell your friends. One more time, I'll say, our goal on a show is to hit that 50 on the thumbs up. It gets the show distributed to a wider audience. You get more views, more likes, maybe more subscribers. So it's always good to get the thumbs up high. I had been getting 50 kind of consistently for maybe a month or 2, but it's kind of slacked off a little bit. And I think it's probably because I don't mention it as much as I used to. So if you could do me a proper... Huh?
But you know what? You did get the majority of your the peaks that I noticed. The vast majority of you fine folks out there gave us a thumbs up. And we're only 10 away. if we can get those 10, if you see this on replay and you watch it this far, once again, please give it a thumbs up, because if it happens in the first 36 hours, Royce will get a boost. This show will get more views, and the tribe and the Warriors grow that way.
That's exactly right, Michael. And another thing, whether you're watching now or you're watching 3 weeks from now, the shows are going to be getting watched from now on. I told a story earlier. I've got one show I did something like 2 years ago, and I'm still averaging over 400 views a month with that show. It actually shows up in my, favorite videos list. Anyway, so just so you know, the shows are out there. You don't have to sign up tonight. You don't have to click the subscribe button tonight. You may be watching it. Somebody. If you're here now and you're not subscribed, please do hit the subscribe button now.
Yes.
I'm getting tongue tied here. Anyways, but if you're watching a week from now, tomorrow, a month from now, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. We have hundreds of music-based videos. We cover all the artists, all the ones you like, all the ones you love. We cover them all, and we have multiple shows on many of them. I mean, we've covered Led Zeppelin, every single studio album, the compilations, How the West Was Won, the Mothership, covered them all. I mean, we'll take a particular band and we'll go through everything they have.
Those were some of my favorite shows to be a part of, by the way, Royce.
Yeah,
Led Zeppelin shows when we cover them, or Black Sabbath, and the occasional time when you covered the Beatles. I remember
we went
your Yellow Submarine deal we did. We had a great show there.
Yeah, Sgt. Pepper's. I think I stopped right at Magical Mystery Tour, but the last time I talked Beatles, I have their two albums from Hamburg, Germany, before they were even the Beatles.
There you go.
Yeah, I got to show those. So anyway. That's all I'm going to say tonight. Just thank you all so much for being here, the panel as well as the chat. We really appreciate you all. So anyway, go ahead, Chris. We just work our way around.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thanks for everybody, and just Chuck Berry. It begins and ends with Chuck Berry, right?
Yeah.
And funny fact, with the Back to the Future movies. Not only did he go back and plagiarize his own songs, but the amps he uses in that movie, he went back in time with one of those, because those actual amps he used in the movie weren't invented until 1953, and in the movie he's back in 1951. Just a fun fact.
Hey, Kevin Hall, how you doing, brother? Okay.
But anyways, I just want to say goodbye to everybody. Stay safe, stay warm, and we'll see y'all again next week.
Hey, Brandon. Brandon just popped in. How you doing, brother? Good to see you, Brandon.
From down under?
Down under, yeah.
I hope you're having a goodly day, Brandon.
Rocket Robin Bird.
Thank you, Rocket Robin.
Rocket Robin Bird asked a question: is the band named Buck Cherry a play on Chuck Berry's name? So
that's interesting.
I looked it up, and it's true.
Oh, it is.
It's on
great band too.
Well, on two counts.
That's amazing.
Well, it's named after Buck Cherry after two things. One of them is the play on Chuck Berry's name, and also there was a drag queen. I guess somebody in the band knew his name was Buck Cherry, but it was two words. So to stop any confusion, they just made it one word, Buck Cherry. But it's a compound reason why they got that name.
Good band. Good band.
Yeah, they're a good band. I saw. I don't want to get into it. Saw one of the members of Buck Cherry. He came up just to DJ at this event at a winery. Anyway. All right, Joseph Blue. Am I the token gay? I wouldn't have any idea, Joseph. We love you all the same, man. Snickerist. Elvis missed the show at Checkpoint Charlie, 1961.
Trust me, Joseph, I doubt that you are. We come from all over, and all kinds of different people show up here. There's plenty of room, as long as we're being gentlemanly and gentlewomanly towards each other.
Everybody's welcome. Period.
Everybody's welcome, man.
Yeah.
There are no guards at the gate here. There aren't any on my channel. I'll let powers greater than me decide the rights and wrongs of the world, and I'll just keep to my core set of values and gravitate to those kind of people. It's worked well for me.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm pretty much.
I had a good, strong connection with Rachel early on, and I didn't care for the way the show went later and lost that connection. But while I had that connection, I didn't see, trans woman of color Rachel. I never did. I met her right here on your show, Royce, and I just saw another human being who was incredibly intelligent, well-educated, willing to go outside her own core belief system and embrace other political ideologies. And I go, well, she's open. She's open to what it is. And I've always called her because that's what she identifies as. I don't give a shit about that, right? And I don't care if you're, Buck from Montana and you got, 10,000 head of cattle out somewhere. And that's not your kind of person you want to hep into. Well, you're welcome too, man. We're all welcome here.
Everybody's welcome. Yeah.
Yeah. It's how we treat each other. It gets down to
That's right. Hey, Michael, I got to say this. Dr. Rick, he's been dealing with a lot of pain lately. And he says our two streams are very important to him. They help me calm down and not worry for a few hours. Thanks, Royce and Michael.
Yeah, you're welcome, Doc.
You are so welcome, Dr. Rick. Seriously.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Doc, I think you were one of the people at one time that even called it your Sunday night therapy, if I recall. Several of you have called it that. A moment of sanity in a world gone mad ain't bad. And talking about classic rock, which so many of us grew up on, and if you're younger, are currently discovering. Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a cool club to belong to, if you ask me.
Yep. Yeah. Now, I got to throw this out too. Joseph Blue, our dear friend Joseph Blue, I'm married but have hardly any close friends. That's what marriage does to all of us. I'm kidding. You folks give me an outlet to share. Well, good. Glad to hear that, Joseph. We appreciate you being here, brother. We appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Well, Royce knows this of me. I have very few close friends. I kind of keep to myself. I'm open to discussion in a public forum. It's not like I'm a poop at a party or anything like that. But I keep it kind of close to my chest and a couple of well-trusted individuals in my life. Royce is one of those right now for me. Okay? So I understand you when you say that, and I get my chance to have a large group of friends when I stream and when I show up here on Royce. Right now, I feel the love. I feel the camaraderie of all you folks in the comments. You know what I feel about you. You know what Royce feels about you. It's not no freaking lie. We're not trying to sell channel over being real. We're real. Right. I didn't know I was going to say all this shit tonight when I got up here. It's off the cuff. It comes from the heart, and I mean it. Damn it. There's real love.
Hey, while we're talking, Dwayne brought up something. So this is for you, Dwayne.
Yeah, that's the pick. Oh, that's good. I like that one even better.
Oh, I know.
Now I like the close-up the best so far. In that white suit, yeah, man.
Yeah, no, I know. I spent a long time trying to pick out some decent ones of those, and you wouldn't think they'd be that hard to find. And at the end of the day, I just get too picky. But
I always imagine Chuck Berry in a white suit. I mean, I look at photos and videos all the time when he's not, but it's like that to me was like almost his uniform. Chuck Berry in a white suit.
Yeah. Hey, Jay Kleiben, thank you so much for being here. I noticed you earlier. Things were going
I saw
fast,
you over on mine too, brother. Thank you.
Yeah, I always appreciate seeing you. Always. Okay, sorry, Michael. Go ahead.
Oh no, Jay goes back on my channel a long way. I appreciate him. Donna the Frank was just martialized tonight.
Yeah, thank you,
In case you guys didn't catch my little announcement, I meant to announce it on my channel. Let me see if I can get this right. Dalek was deputized. I Am One of Us was deputized. And who was it we were just talking about? Donna the Frank. So Frank was deputized as tribal marshals tonight. I didn't get a chance to really say that.
So
I put it out in the comments, but
are they wrenched up? Is that what you're referring to?
They're wrenched up?
Yeah.
Yep. They are my, as I just recently said, they are my Colgate invisible shield. I finally got them. So I laugh to your face, and you men and you ladies who never perceived me as $1 billion babies. Nah. Right?
Well,
that's how we handle problems on my side of the line. And congratulations to all three.
Yeah, right. I don't have Dalek Shalom wrenched up, so I'll have to do that.
There you go, Dalek. Thank you. And your input has been so positive.
Absolutely.
And I wait until I get a sense. Now, I can always undeputize somebody if somebody sneaks in, but I don't ever want to have to do that. And it's not an earned thing. It's a matter of, are they getting the sense of the channel? And so when they come in, I want them to be able to protect the channel a little bit. And it seems to work out real well for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Novice Nick says, one big happy family. Yes, we are.
There. Amen. And Nick is one of our rotating horsemen. If I can't make it, or if Dan can't make it, or Chris, you're just as likely to see Nick up here. So he's a horseman too. So is Dawson. Dawson.
Yeah. Dawson was backstage earlier.
So we have a backup plan to always provide you 4 horsemen, but we're also willing to go with less if we have to. We did that last week, and we'll just stay on that path. If we don't get them up at the beginning, we'll stay with what we got, and that way we'll present you with a more cohesive show. Am I wrong, Royce? I think that's what I got from you. So I don't want to speak for you. You're the boss here, but you and I've talked about this. If I got it wrong, let me know now. No,
it sounds like you have it right, Michael.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Good. I just didn't want to speak for you. That's what came out of my head. You know me. Half mouth, Dan, travel.
Okay, Dan. Any closing statements?
No, not really. It's as much as I like Chuck Berry, I don't have not one of his albums, not one. Which and
I love him too, and that's the only one I have. The Great 28. It's a double album set.
Yeah,
and it has a lot of good songs on it. So.
And I had a CD or 2 of his, but since I've been recollecting vinyl in the last couple of years, I don't have him yet either. Yeah.
Surprisingly, even I only have one, just the best of.
Mm-hmm. Oh, great, nice. Great pick. I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Well, Dan, you're the only person I know that has YouTube shows, comes on other shows, that has a green screen that works.
Yeah. Speaking
everybody else, when I used to set mine up, I feel okay. If I move my hands any further than this from my body, my hands disappear, right? I'd get all this figured out to try to make it look like I've got a good green screen, But
well, Dan's got a real professional green screen behind him, Royce. His green screen is top of the line. Yeah, you can buy green screen cloth, and people will hang it, and that's often what people try, and that's when hands disappear.
Right.
Or even in here. Sometimes, if the hands are too close, they'll disappear, and all of a sudden you just see my sleeves moving. you know.
Right.
It's funny. It's funny you mentioned the green screen because I got a cat behind there right now trying to knock it over. So
and you've got
the
a
illusion
going on
won't be broken.
Well, that's a great picture you have there. Who's the people behind him, like the guitar player? Just
Keith Richards on stage there somewhere. I'm not sure if that's him or not.
Okay, it might be. That's great.
Yeah.
Right above your head, that's Keith Richards for sure.
Okay, yeah,
for sure.
All right, everybody. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate everybody. Appreciate the panel. Appreciate the chat. People that are going to be watching later, I'll appreciate you in advance. So, all right, guys. Thanks so much. And that's what's happening in Royce's world today. Thanks for showing up, guys. Thank you. Good night.
Good night, folks.
Good night.